Okay, so we're going to get into speaking on Jupiter in reference to time and in reference to even fortune, because Jupiter rules actually fortune when you deal with Jupiter as far as astrology. And the reason why they say that is because they say that Jupiter actually rules the star constellation of Sagittarius. And when you deal with the star constellation of Sagittarius, you're dealing with expansion and abundance and being able to see things from, I guess you can call it the macrocosm, or from the bigger picture versus the microcosm, or being one that micromanages information versus taking information from a holistic point of view and then working with it from there. So like when you start working with time magic and things of that nature, though this is an ancient science, this is actually the science that they use on the New York Stock Exchange, on the Forex market, when it deals with the future market, because this market is tied into the clock and time. And in order to really understand time from an aspect of financial, which is really what it's all dealing with, you have to break it down into different planets, and there's different planetary rulers that rule each hour. So for the sake of this video, since I'm still dealing with the number 9, I'm going to get into breaking down time in increments. I want to speak on Jupiter, because Jupiter is very important, and I'm going to single Jupiter out because Jupiter is ruled by what's called the 9th hour from my research. So each hour where I'm getting at is ruled by a different planet. And according to different scholars, namely Zachariah Sitchin and other scholars, they teach that there's 12 planets, just like there's 12 hours, or what we call Horus, in a day. So there's 12 hours, and there's 12 planets, and each planet rules a different hour of the day. So I'm not going to get into each planet. I can, but I'll do that in the future. But for the sake of this episode, because I'm speaking on time, I want to single out the 9th hour, which deals with Jupiter and deals with abundance and good luck. And also, Jupiter is ruled by Thor. And as you know, Thor used a lightning bolt as a weapon, because this represents light code transmissions. When I talk about vising someone with the eye and using your eyes and turning your eyes literally into a form of a currency, once you learn how to find patterns and use your eyes as a currency, you have to understand Jupiter from the version of Thor and the lightning bolt, and dealing with the fact that light takes a certain amount of time to strike the eyelid. So light is actually used as a, I guess you could call it like used as a backing or some form of commodity to back this eye currency that I'm speaking on. They use light. Light is the literal thing that's used as collateral. That's the term I'm looking for. Light is used as collateral when it comes to backing this currency. So what happened is that time is broken down into different aspects, and the error comes in. And when I'm speaking, the reason I'm making this video is because in Western society, we're taught to use time and look at time from a perspective of seconds, because this is our first measure of time, which is actually inaccurate, because this puts us into what's called the microcosm of time. See, as certain teachers taught, why is it called a second? Why isn't it called a first? Where is the 0 point? Why is our clock so messed up? For instance, outside of military time, why is 12 o'clock 0 point? Why is there not a 0 outside of 10 o'clock on the clock? Why is there not a 0 hour? See, these are things you got to ask yourself, and there's a reason for it. Now, I'll get into it in future episodes, but this is stuff that I'm throwing out there. So I'm saying that our concept of economics and how we do business is right now is locked into what's called the microcosm instead of the macrocosm. So what's going on right now is that we are caught up into what's called the second instead of the first, which, as one of the beloved master teachers taught, on the 5% doctrine. The first deals with Malachi York, to be specific. The first deals with the minute or the moment. So the minute or the moment is actually the first. However, that's the microcosm to us, or the macrocosm, excuse me. That's the bigger picture to us, because we count 60 seconds to get to a minute. And this messes with our head because this puts us on a different degree. Because I'm going to give you an example. Like, there's approximately about 700 and something minutes. I'm just throwing this out as estimations because these are strict points, but there's about 720 minutes in a day, and then there's like 43,000 seconds or something like that in a day. So what I'm getting at is that this puts you either, like, you can demonstrate off the number 7, demonstrating in minutes, or you can demonstrate off the number 4, or you can go and demonstrate off of the number 24, which goes into the X factor, or 24 hours in a day, which is actually off as well, because there's actually 23 minutes and 56 seconds. 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds in a day. So that's off as well. So what I'm getting at is that you may think that these things are complex. Like, what does this have to do with finances and money and time? However, this is the medium that's used in order to be a good trader and an accurate trader online. You have to master time and master the clock, because the internet, the way it's designed, is designed off of what? 0 and 1 binary code. But our clock is based on the number 12, so the internet is locked into military time, or locked into the number 24. And then there's an error, and it's how beings come in and out and make billions of dollars overnight, and then come out the market in the daytime because they mastered the minute, or 720 degrees, or 720 minutes in a day. And they live by the minute versus the second. See, when you move by the minute, you have to move in motion. When you move by the second, you're viewing everything from a third-party perspective, actually. So you're not even participating in the trading. Even if you think you are and you're putting money, you're like, I got $1 million in the stock market. What are you talking about? That doesn't matter, because your money is just being monitored. You're viewing. You're not vising. It is when you physically turn yourself into a commodity and a currency, and you begin to visa time, and you use that to make profit. So I'll get into more. I need to go ahead and shut down. My airtime is out. I just wanted to drop this brief episode, and we're going to get into, we talked about the moment, which is getting into the men, the deity men, or Amun-Ra, which is what we're talking about in this episode. We're going to go more into the hours, dealing with Horus on the next episode. So as always, stay vigilant. Have a great evening or the day where you are at. Namaste. Hotep. Wadu.